agus arid chaneise tá praisna electrachas leir dúris agus tá seogal bhfuilú níos mó na 10 billion chailí agus is ceniu wufas an ceniu tá deantaigh fan na Gael agus ag fianna bhfuil na creidimhas a foniu a párin siar sa cain asnis. Tá breis agus 300 míle tithe na bhfuil abalta a go electrachas ag an fonte seo agus caithí an takeíocht seo bhéar bhfuil san cain asnis a mí dhearmh over. The workers and families are getting absolutely hammered with soaring prices. And while your government acts as if everything's rosy in the garden, the cost of living crisis is out of control. Households are under huge pressure to get by. They're being hit by rip-off prices at every turn. It's rent, it's food, it's insurance, it's petrol and diesel, it's student fees, it's the local property tax. Everything is sky high and there's no end to it, and people can't catch a breath at the moment. And now, as if things weren't bad enough, we have the big energy companies that come along with another big hike in electricity prices, just as we head into the darker months of the year. Energia is going to jack up their electricity prices by 12%, Bord Gas by over 13%, Pinergy are putting up their prices by over 9%, and households, as we know, are already paying some of the highest electricity prices in Europe. And more than 500,000 customers are going to be hit by these latest increases in the next couple of weeks. Many are now going to be forced to fork out hundreds of euro additional money that they simply do not have. And the real kicker for people, Taoiseach, is that your government is choosing to make matters worse, because at the very time when these companies are fleecing them again, you have decided to withdraw energy credits in the budget. It's a terrible decision and one that you need to reverse. The job of the government is to shield households from these hikes. That means ending the rip-off, getting prices under control and supporting workers and families in this budget. But what you're doing is you're doing the exact opposite. You've sat on your hands and you're sitting on your hands. All the while, energy companies are making massive, massive profits. We know wholesale prices for electricity have fallen since the start of the year. So there's absolutely no justification for these companies to be squeezing and to be gouging their customers as they are doing. It is barefaced greed and rampant profiteering. And it is it any wonder that there are 300,000 households as we speak that cannot pay their electricity bill. You've allowed this energy rip-off to go unabated. You've allowed it to happen for many years. You've done nothing to put manners on the energy companies. Not only have you done nothing, but you've actually pushed back against our proposals to get energy prices under control. We proposed giving the energy regulator powers to hold these companies to account. You ignored it. We proposed legislation to monitor and regulate standing charges and hedging practice. You ignored it. We proposed restructuring the PSO levy so that large energy users such as data centres pay their fair share rather than placing that burden on domestic customers, households and small businesses. You ignored it. So you're up to your neck in this rip-off. So it's scandalous that you've now come along, your government comes along and you say to people out there that you're on your own, that you've allowed the energy companies a free rein, and now you decide to cancel the energy credits that hard-pressed households have been dependent on. Where is the fairness in that? Are you not listening to the people? People right across this state are just about hanging in there. They can't take much more. And folks are going to come under huge pressure this winter. They're already under huge pressure, but they're going to come under more pressure. Prices going up by double digits and government withdraws electricity credits. You need to change course. This will be the final straw for many. So you need to wake up, Taoiseach, and listen to what people are saying. Understand what people are facing in relation to this rip-off. And you need to now accept, and I ask you, do you accept now, given the raft of energy companies that have announced that they're going to increase their prices the week of the budget, do you now accept that withdrawing the energy credits is a step too far and is a decision that you will now reverse?
Thanks very much, Lasca and Corla. Look, can I just begin today by expressing the great shock and sadness that I know we're all feeling as a country about the deeply tragic and upsetting scene unfolding in Donabate. We've been gripped as a country for weeks by the search for this missing little boy, and until today we did not know his name, but we do know it now. His name was Daniel. Until today we'd not seen his face, but now the image of this beautiful little boy is seared in our consciousness, and I know there's a There's a Garda investigation ongoing into both the scene and the circumstances. That has to be allowed do its work, but I think it's fair to say this is a moment of significant public distress and concern, and the state processes must be thorough and robust in establishing all the facts. Thank you very much, Deputy Doherty, for raising what is a very important issue, and I do know that the cost of energy is a real concern for families across the country, and it's a real concern as the evenings get darker, as the evenings get colder. And I want to assure people at home that this is a government that is taking action to help people with the cost of energy. And actually it's from next week, from Monday, that fuel season actually begins. It's from Monday the 22nd of September that for the next 28 weeks we will have fuel allowance payments being paid to over 400,000 homes right across the country. This is a payment worth around €924 in the fuel season. It can be paid in a weekly amount of €33, or it can be paid in two lump sum payments of just over €460. And as a result of decisions we made in the last budget, more people than ever before will qualify, because you'll remember in the last budget we took decisions that meant that actually the means test that had applied to people over the age of 70 will now apply to people from the age of 66. So I do want people at home to know, particularly those most in need, those most vulnerable, those most in need of assistance, that fuel allowance season does kick off from Monday, and it can be applied very easily from mywelfare.ie, and indeed if you've received the payments in the past you don't need to reapply. I also want people to know that we've already taken some other decisions to try and help people more broadly with the cost of energy. We took the decision when we came back to government to extend the 9% VAT rate for gas and electricity. This is providing a relief for both families and businesses. I'm not sure whether it was a measure you were supportive of or had proposed. It's a costly measure, but it's absolutely the right thing to do. Lowering the VAT rate on people's bills in the here and now. We didn't need to wait for any budget or for you to stand up at leaders' questions and ask us to do it. We took that decision, we've done it, we've implemented it, and that makes a difference on people's bills. In the National Development Plan, only before the summer recess, we allocated €3.5 billion to EirGrid, because we've got to get better in terms of our energy supply in this country, which has a direct knock-on consequence in terms of cost. And crucially, we have established a cross-government energy affordability task force, because you're right, energy in this country is too high. And that task force was charged with its first item to produce an interim report to look at what measures can be taken to support customers this winter, and indeed to be produced and given to the Minister in advance of Budget 2026, so it can help us inform decisions that we may wish to take then. So yes, you're right, this year we're moving back to an annual budget process. That's true. It's not the same thing as saying that we don't intend to take actions to help families with the cost of living. But we've got to take measures that are sustainable and that are permanent. And we're moving away from one-off to permanent sustainable measures. And I've given you a number of examples there of practical decisions we've taken. Yes, targeting money at those most in need through the fuel allowance. I'm sure you'll welcome the expansion of it, welcome the fact that it starts on Monday for the next 28 weeks, but also more broadly the 9% VAT rate, which everybody's bills benefit from, and now the Task Force on Energy Affordability under Minister O'Brien's leadership, chaired by him, that brings a range of stakeholders, including the ESRI, together to look at proposals, and that's due to report to the Minister very shortly as well. So I want people at home to know we hear you on the cost of energy, we know about the cost of living, and it's usually right that you wait for the budget until you criticise it.
Deputy Doherty.
Well, you've made it very clear, and this is why we do criticise your decision, you've made it very clear that you're withdrawing energy supports in this year's budget. What people have been dependent on and relying on for the last 3 years, and even with that and the other measures, fuel allowance, which has been there for years, and yes, it has been extended and expanded, and I welcome that. But it's been there, and still today we have 300,000 households that can't pay their electricity bill. We have nearly 200,000 households that can't pay their gas bills. And you have decided, your government has decided, despite the fact that 4 companies have come out now and said that we're increasing our prices by double-digit increases the week of the budget or slightly before, and you've decided to say that energy credits aren't going to make a way into the budget this year. It is the wrong decision. And I say to you, and I'm sure that you're listening to the same people that are talking to me, people who are pushed to the pin of their collar, people who know they're being ripped off, They know that the big energy companies are ripping them off, but your government has done nothing about it. As I said, you've pushed back against the proposals that we had to actually bring these prices under control. But it's the same with insurance, it's the same with rents, it's the same with foods. It's all talk and no action. The one action that you can have that will give support to people in the here and now is make sure that energy credits play a central part in a cost of living package in the budget. We are very clear it should be in the form of €450 that will support people right here, right now, because you have failed, your government has failed to bring these companies under control in terms of the prices that they're charging, which are absolutely gouging people at this point in time.
Look, I don't want to be too argumentative the first week back, but I mean the Sinn Féin proposal to help people with their energy bills was to subsidise these massive energy companies. That was your proposal, to give our taxpayers money to the energy companies. That was bonkers now, in fairness, and I think you reflected on that and changed your policy. You weren't a big fan of the energy credits. I don't think you even committed to them in your manifesto. So you're now kind of jumping on every bandwagon going. We're going to take action, and energy costs are real, and I don't disagree with you, by the way, that the cost of energy in Ireland is too high and that it is a real cause of worry for people. I'm telling you today, and more importantly, I'm telling the people of this country today what we're doing to help those in need, with the fuel allowance season kicking off on Monday for more people than ever before. That will make a real difference to your constituents and mine, with more benefiting in your county and mine than ever before. I'm also telling you about other practical measures we've taken in the here and now, including the VAT, reducing the VAT rate on people's energy bills. That was a practical measure, a costly measure, but the right thing to do. But I do agree on this. There's a structural issue in relation to our energy market that we need to get on top of. And that's why one of the first acts that Minister O'Brien took was establish the task force on energy affordability. The first thing it was asked to do was to look specifically at measures that can be taken for this winter and measures that can inform the government in advance of the budget. And I expect the Minister to receive that report very shortly.
Thank you.